Mr. Kiran Kumar and Om Malviya joining us on the stage, please. Let's listen from them about rise of Web3 gaming. May I request you to please introduce yourself?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. So we're coming fresh off a session that discussed monetization. I can see that the audience in general is now getting into the sleepy phase with the jalebi sinking in and the 3 ice creams down. And we are going to discuss a topic that's emerging today, right? While monetization is a very key challenge, I think we're looking to the future in terms of where is gaming headed. And Web3 indeed is an extension to the last topic because it is a net new way in which monetization can actually happen, right? So quickly about me, I am a founding advisor for a gaming company called Golive Games. We build mid-core strategy games. So if you've heard of Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, so games like that, which have a collectible card game engine at its center and building games around those. We've built 3 games, one of which is a cricket strategy game. And we're building that cricket strategy game called Cricket Stars on Web3, along with our fine friends here at Tezos. And it's built on that blockchain. And we'll talk a little bit more about what all that means. Om, a quick introduction of yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Om Malviya. I'm head of Tezos India. Tezos India is an independent entity which drives adoption of Tezos blockchain in Indian region. Tezos is a blockchain, like if you have heard about Ethereum, Matic. It's a decentralized smart contract blockchain, but it differs itself from its competitor in a way that it's fundamentally decentralized. The promise of crypto is the fundamental promise of crypto is being decentralized, which is Tezos. It's infinitely scalable, and it has much more better technology than its existing competitors. And it provides like how we have seen the blockchain thesis is where blockchain basically provides you with ownership and digital economies, and Tezos is basically fulfilling the promise of blockchain. And Tezos India does everything that is related to Tezos the adoption of Tezos technology in India, and yeah, that's it.
All right. So quick question to the audience here. How many of you have heard of blockchain? How many of you know what blockchain is? Okay. Fantastic.
Nice.
How many of you have actually created a wallet for yourselves and done something? A lot fewer people.
Yeah.
Right. How many of you even know what you need to do in order to get onto blockchain? Right.
One.
So the same set of people. Okay. All right. So first of all, let's just bring this topic into the picture. That most of you must have heard that cryptocurrencies are the only things that happen on blockchain, and that's the primary way in which blockchain works. Let's first demystify that. I don't think that's the primary use case of blockchain. There are a lot more deeper use cases for blockchain that exist beyond just the cryptocurrency aspect of it, right? How many of you heard of something called NFTs? How many of you know what an NFT is? Right? How many of you know somebody who's tried to mint an NFT? Okay, that's cool. Right, so blockchain games can be built in multiple ways. We are quickly going to discuss today games that are built using NFTs and how NFTs can be a great way to monetize your game. More importantly, bring users closer to the game so that they feel more in charge feel a greater sense of ownership of what they've done, right? I think one of the critical challenges that we've seen with mid-core games, especially, is that people invest anywhere from 1 year to 4 years of their time playing that game, right? And some of the younger folks today will not face this backlash, but folks who are probably in their 30s would have heard their parents say, "Why are you wasting your time? What the hell are you doing? There are so many better things to do," right? And honestly, all those folks would have definitely said that, hey, if I could take a piece of all the gaming time that I had spent, right, and all the assets that I had accrued, right, within the games that I had played, and it's like trophies on the wall that you put up, right? All the trophies that you won in childhood, whether it was a running race, whether it was a chess competition, a caroms competition, all of those are things that are memories that you cherish, right? For gamers, those memories exist in a digital format. Now imagine you could actually have ownership of that and carry it with you anywhere. Not just ownership of it, imagine you could actually sell it as a digital collectible and then monetize all that hard work that you've put into building that online persona, right? Those are the kind of possibilities that NFT games actually unlock for you, right? So I think one quick question that's there for you, right, Om, is I think post the whole crypto crash that happened early 2022, how are you looking at who's left in the market, right? And what kind of things are actually being built today?
Yeah. So in the crypto world, first of all, there are a lot of terms that have come across since I've been in this space. I've been in this space since 2016. And of course, Bitcoin has been there since 2009, 2008, 2009. So a lot of things have been associated with sometimes shady, sometimes scam, sometimes also good, sometimes quick money making schemes and all. But the fundamental promise of blockchain or crypto is far beyond that, right? So right now, what happened in early 2022, and this keeps happening over and over again because these are very early markets. This is a completely new kind of asset class. We don't even know if we should call it asset, commodity, or just digital tokens, or just simple, because each thing has its unique different definition. For example, yesterday there was this SEC case that got settled in United States court, where the US judge ruled out that there is this token called XRP. It's not a security, right? It's just a utility kind of software that you use for specific purposes. So there are a lot of opinions across this. What happens usually is when there's not now it happens a lot less, but the early 2022, I wouldn't call it crypto crash in a sense of crash. The crash was what we saw in 2017 when Bitcoin went to 20,000 and then fell back to almost $3,000 or $4,000. And that was a mad rush, sort of like a gold rush, where everybody was getting into this scene just to make quick money. And history has taught us one thing: whenever a lot of people, following each other, get into some race for making quick money, it always fails, right? No matter how good of a technology it is, even if you look at the earlier days of stock markets or whatever it is, the same thing happened with these early markets. But what came out of this crash is genuine use case. So what happens is, I think this is more of in the cycle perspective. There was the earlier cycle of 2017, where a lot of people came with different kind of use cases, that this is how we can use crypto, maybe for NFTs, for digital economies, for digital finance, for security tokens, asset tokenization, etc. And then they sold those promises, and some promises were not fulfilled, and all this, whatever the hype material just got out of that crash. That was a good thing. And then in the 2022, we saw again there were some use cases. The use cases which were proposed in 2017, they had matured. For example, decentralized finance. Like even right now, even during the crash, the decentralized lending platform had $1 billion worth of value locked in that. So some use case had matured. In 2017, they sustained throughout this crash. Now, in this cycle, there are a lot less crashes. Bitcoin didn't go as down. It still only went to only $16,000, which if we look at 2017 perspective, it's very high. And now, during this entire crash, one thing we have seen very consistent, and even the data shows, is developers kept developing, builders kept building, and even during this bear market, a lot of good projects raised were raising funds. And I think that was the accumulation zone. Now the builders, the developers who have stayed throughout and built a good product with the fundamentals of with the fundamental advantages that a blockchain has to offer, these are going to sustain throughout, right? They are going to find a product market fit. Either they have already, or they are going to find a product market fit in the next 6 to 10 months. And then it's only scaling. So I think that's going to be very interesting. And one thing that has emerged really cool before the market crash and even during the market is gaming. Even during the crash, even right now, the majority of daily active users or monthly active users on blockchains are driven by gaming. Like, it has a huge share. I'm not sure right now, but during the crash, more than 50% or almost 50% of users were Web3 gamers. And I think this has already become a huge sort of proponent for the adoption of Web3 itself, because games are a great source of adoption when it comes to new tech. And if you want to, bring Web3, the ownership economy, the self-custody of assets to every individual, to every house, games are the best way to bring that adoption. And that's why the thesis of Web3 gaming is so strong across the world.
So I think one of the clear things that's there is that globally, the people who are active on Web3, I think that whole ownership of the work that I've done is clearly a theme that is very, very strong, right? And but there is a huge challenge that's there along with that, right? So I think since 2017, the user experiences that we've seen, right, in Web3 have been really, really clunky, right? So typically, folks that have tried to build a game in Web3 were forced to first say, hey, you need to become a Web3 user first, which means you need to go get a wallet first. You need to go put money into that wallet, which means you need to first buy some cryptocurrencies, go to one exchange, put that into a wallet that you've bought, and then with that wallet, enter the game, right? And I think, the hurdles, when you do something like that, right, especially for an audience that does not understand all of that very well, you've already lost more than 95% of your core gamer audience, right? I think today what's happening, I think, is that games that are choosing to go down this route are a lot smarter. One, I think the technology itself is a lot more user-friendly, right? What that essentially means is that we can today craft user experiences which are very, very similar to how you play games today, right? And we are building one such game where users won't even know that they're playing a Web3 game, right? Until they actually get to a level within the game where an NFT is minted because of the level that they've actually played onto, right? Yeah. And even then, there's no force for them to say, hey, I need to now take this NFT and do something with it, right? Until and unless they feel, yes, now I understand that this asset will actually unlock a lot of value for me within the game, and therefore I can actually use it for multiple purposes, right? So one, entering, special tournaments, or two, I want a friend to come on board so that I can show them this wonderful world. So let me quickly trade with them, show them what is the possibility, so that I can bring more people on board, right? I think those are some of the key things that are happening on the gaming front, and game developers are kind of looking at that. Do you think that this shift in user experience is going to create a lot more developers coming in?
Yeah, of course. I mean, one key aspect is during 2022, I guess the number of startups that I remember, just 3 or 4, more than $15 million have been spent on startups solving the UX problem, which is on wallet creation and fiat on ramp, crypto on ramp, like how easily you could get cryptocurrency. And a lot of cool startups in India as well who are working on it all across the world. So earlier what happened is in 2017, the use cases were not so fine-tuned. Now we know this is what the Web3 benefits. At least in the gaming side, we know what are the key factors, right? And then every different use case in Web3 has different security assumptions. For example, if I'm putting, I don't know, $1 billion on top of blockchain, then I really want to make sure that I'll spend half an hour just to understand what is a wallet, how can I secure it, how can I do X, Y, and Z. But if I'm just a general gamer, my security assumption can be a bit different. For example, I just need my keys to be secured and you don't tell me about it, right? That's all. Like, I don't want to know what wallet is. And if you want to tell me, just tell me during the gameplay, or maybe after a month or after the moment I download the game, the first thing, it shouldn't be, hey, this is a wallet, this is the blockchain you are on. And that's why even being a blockchain platform ourselves, we don't go to, let's say, companies we work with and say, hey, force this on users because we want to solve the UX first. So for end user, what matters is they are playing the games in an interactive way. They get to learn about cool badges or new levels unlocked, new cards they get, and then once they and then slowly they get infused into it, for example, and that's the one thing that we are seeing happening a lot across a lot of games. And one of the reason we are seeing so many solutions and this increased number of daily active users or monthly active users on Web3 games is because of that only. Because and even with in terms of Golive games, like if you give user that kind of onboarding, like first the wallet is created, user don't know, and then slowly if the user wants to get his card and trade it on a marketplace, then he gets to know about it. Or if he wants to even buy a cryptocurrency for some sense, let's say you have your own token, which is a in-game reward, it should be easier to be able to buy that. And now we have solutions where you can literally use UPI to do that, right? So the tech is getting mature day by day, and the level of maturity is growing at a very fast pace. In next 6 to 10 months, I think we are going to see games which has this all the Web3 complexity completely abstracted away. All they have is a really good game and advantages of Web3, where they can see, oh, I have let's say a cricket card from Cricket Stars game, and now I can use this card for some other game as well. And you will start seeing the composability of assets across different games. That's the fundamental thesis that I think is going to be very valuable when we look at Web3 gaming in the longer place, where I can use assets from my one game in some other games, and there's a cross composability of games and assets that is happening, along with the unique ownership proponent that has. One key thing I want to mention here is the fundamental blockchains, the smart contracts like Ethereum and Tezos, which are the two of the earliest one. Vitalik started Ethereum because he was playing World of Warcraft and suddenly the server was down or something and he lost all his game progress. And that was one of the key motivating factor, that there has to be some way, some sort of decentralized database where I don't have to lose, access to all the things that I've earned after years and years of hard work. So that also led to the birth of Ethereum itself. So it's quite obvious that we are going to see games becoming very natural on Web3.
That's, I think, a fantastic story, right? Vitalik, the founder creator behind Ethereum itself, was a hardcore gamer, and the gaming experiences that he had, or the lacuna, the gaps in the gaming experiences that he had, has actually led to creating one of the most successful sort of Web3 crypto platforms, Ethereum, right? And I think one of the other things that I wanted to ask you was, today I think gaming companies probably don't know how to engage with any Web3 sort of platform, right? And They don't know where to start. They don't know how to build the technology. They don't know what is the first step that they need to do. They probably don't even know, hey, these are the interesting ways that I can include net new monetization techniques, right? um, how do you help studios like that out? How do you help them? What is it that you do today to bring that into the fore?
So I think in that regards to helping gaming projects, we do heavy lifting, and we have done heavy lifting, right? For example, so we have also worked with Ubisoft for their game Ghost Recon, where their items were NFTs, their weapons and all, and we have done these kind of various case studies through which we have identified the gaps, how to solve the certain issues that hardcore gamers face, how not to force things upon them. And through that experience, we work with gaming studios and gaming projects to basically define the use case and define sort of the game economy, how it should be built, right? So that's the key part, because what we have seen is a lot of game studios, like in India, there is no lack of great game studios. There are a lot of indie developers, game studios, mid-level studios, AAA games are also really cool ones. But the key thing is, when it comes to crypto, the understanding where does it fit in, right? Because usually the fundamental mental image that a lot of people has when it comes to crypto, there has to be some token or cryptocurrency, or somebody has to make money, somebody has to lose money and stuff like that. But it's not just that. I mean, you could have a game where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to sell any cryptocurrency. You don't have to have a player buy any cryptocurrency. All you have to do is, it's just a software. That's why I focused on the term software a lot. It's just a different kind of software, like you have Android, Play Store. It's just a different kind of platform which you can utilize to enhance the gaming experience better for your users, focusing on the ownership side. And I think that's where we come in. We sit with gaming studios, we sit with projects, we define their, and there are multiple ways. One is, how do you get your already existing game to Web3? And second is, if you have a new concept of game, how do you build from scratch in a way that it utilizes the maximum benefit of the Web3, right? And we work on both these sides, because we have worked with a lot of different partners, from AAA games to mediocre games as well, and we basically infuse our learnings in that process, that this is where it could be beneficial. And then it's up to the game studio themselves, because what we think is, we have to get this perception out of the players that all the crypto people are out there to monetize us. All the people are out there to get us, because that's one of the earlier reaction there was when we did the first big AAA game integration. But if you go soft to the players, if you go in a softer way, and if you make them realize that this is good for them, or this is increasing their experience, they all eventually come around, right? So we sit with them, and on case by case basis, we define certain strategies, certain use cases, certain business, certain business models as well, and then we take it from there.
Right. So I think one of very interesting thing that you brought up, right? So I think one of the very, very interesting things that's there is, like I said, extending from the previous conversation on how do you monetize your games better, right? So I think one of the things that definitely comes out is that you don't need to sacrifice any of the traditional monetization techniques at all, right? You don't need to sacrifice any of them at all for any of the games that you're building, right? Web3 essentially offers a fantastic new way to empower the gamers and the gaming audience, right? So that they get ownership and they feel connected to the game long after they've left playing, right? And I think that's something which is very interesting, right? Second, of course, is that there are net new ways in which you can actually promote these games as well, right? And so one of the techniques that we at Golive are using is that, since these are mid-core games, they are essentially built for esports, right? And we're using esports as the backdrop for an alternative to the Googles, the Facebooks, and the Apples, right? Instead of using paid user acquisition as the only model of acquiring users, we're going down the path of actually saying, hey, let's put the game in the hands of the people who love playing. Let them go ahead and share their gaming experience, transmit that live in the form of esports tournaments, stream that to all the users that are out there. One very, very interesting thing that we saw happening was that just within the beta itself, right? So the initial days of the game itself, what we've seen is that there are influencers who love playing the game so much, they're inviting all their fans to come and play with them. The streams, the number of streams that these influencers are putting out and people are watching is almost neck to neck with Valorant, right? So any tournament that Valorant does today, Cricket Stars has a similar number of streams as them, right? And for games like this, if you get a sense of ownership also, saying that I'm not just playing, I'm actually getting something that brings in a tremendous amount of pride in the users. That's something that we are seeing, right? In your experience with some of the other studios that you're working with, what are the ways in which they're thinking about taking games to market and so forth? What are ways in which you help them with that exercise?
Yeah, so there are different ways people are using it. One other example is Vitality, is one of the biggest esports team in Europe. What they did is something unique. Now this is a big esports team. They have a lot of fans across, and they wanted something to do some sort of fan engagement program with them. So what they did is they created an app, and in each app, the fans can get different sort of avatars. They can buy different apparels, which are all NFTs. They can decorate their avatars in that way, and they get in real life benefits, like they get invited to some real life esports tournament. They get to meet those players. They get the merchandise and all different kind of levels they have. Where the more rare skin you have, the more levels you unlock. So that is a different way of keeping fan engagement. Like it works in totally in a way in sort of esports way. Like if I were to talk about something non-gaming which relates to this, is something like Manchester United. It's a football team, and all of the NFTs are on Tezos as collectibles. And Manchester United is one very big football club, and the fans of this club, they have collected these NFTs, and the entire process happened without them knowing anything about wallet. All they had to do is log in using their Gmail, claim their NFT, or if they were to buy something, they had to buy using their Stripe or credit card, debit card. And now they are this almost 1 lakh fans in one Discord group, and they have different levels. And based on those levels, they'll get to be in the stadium of Manchester United with free tickets. They get to watch the game. They get to meet the legends, the football players and all. And that experience has worked out really well. Similarly, this is happening for the esports team here. And the response we have seen is pretty great, because you are giving them some utility. These are fans. They idolizes these players. They want to be like them. And then you're giving them different level of achievements. There is a way to verify. They have pride in owning that kind of collectible. They are showing off, flexing in front of friend groups. So that's working out really well in terms of fan engagement. And then there is something like where the entire everything is NFT. There's one game called Dogami, where you have dogs. You have almost everybody loves dogs, right? So there are a lot of 7,000 to 8,000 dogs, and you can basically own a pet. You can digital sort of AR collectible, and then you can there's a mobile app where you can have race. You have to pet them. You have to take them to a walk, sort of like Pokemon Go in some sense. Like imagine in Pokemon Go, when it came out, all the Pokemons were sort of like an NFT collectible. You would still have that even if you lost your access, or you could have trade him in a different way. It opens a lot of opportunities. And the fundamental thesis of collectibles and NFTs goes back to the Pokemon cards and baseball cards And that's how we are thinking this is all going to happen digitally, backed by NFTs and collectibles in this way.
Yeah, I think that theme of ownership, being a collectible, I think is inevitable, right? I think
Yeah.
that's the underlying factor that's there throughout, right? And I think it's an inevitability that games are going to move in this direction, because fans are going to want that more and more. Nobody wants to spend 3 years of their life playing a game and have zeros, nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's something that we believe is the way that things are going to move forward.
Yeah.
Right? I think one other interesting question, I would say, is that today, what are the kinds of games that you're seeing adopt NFTs? Right? Are you seeing what genres of games are you seeing? Are you seeing games which are hyper casual? Are you seeing what kind of casual, mid-core, hardcore? What kind of games are actually adopting NFTs today?
I think we are seeing games across all kinds. One example is there is this platform called stake.com. It's web-based. They did $2.4 billion in revenue. The report was just out. And what they have is all the hyper-casual games. It's basically, yeah. And what you can do is you can bet in Bitcoin, Ethereum, you can play blackjack, casino, and all that kind of stuff. So they started with that model. They grew very quick. And then they also stayed compliant throughout the time, right? So that's one game that is in this category. There are also a lot of AAA games there as well, like Gods Unchained. I guess it's on Immutable. There are different kind of games like Sunflower Land on. This was also on Polygon. There is Dogami on Tezos. There's Dystopia. So in all the different kind of games, what we are seeing is NFTs being the primary thing for assets. Now the asset could be anything. The asset could be the entire avatar itself. Asset could be even the scarf of your neck. And asset could as well be the cryptocurrencies as well. Like when you, let's say, if you want to create sort of a hyper casual or a real money gaming kind of app, then you unlock your user base to basically entire world, right? Like if you want to create a Windsor for the whole of the world, then you could do that. Basically, blockchains now are that scalable. Now, it wasn't possible in 2018, 2019 because blockchains weren't scalable, right? You need a transaction throughput of possibly 20,000, 30,000, and Tezos is hitting 1 million transactions per second also right now with this technology. So it all becomes possible. The tech limitations are gone. The UX limitations are almost gone, and in next 6 months, I think they'll be gone as well. Then the entire canvas is blank. Like you could, the technology is out there, the core values it provide, the core features provide, these are out there. Limitations are gone. Now it's up to the developers and builders. They can build whatever they want in whatever way they can, right?
I think on that note, right? So one of the most interesting things that's there is games that are going to allow UGC, user generated content, coming in. Those user generated content can actually come in the shape of NFTs, and that really creates a fantastic way for users to not just own but actually share in the game, right? Mm-hmm. So as in share their experiences with millions of other users that are playing, and also obviously participate in the economy itself, right? So earn from the game itself. I think that's there are opportunities like that which are also very interesting, right? On this note, I think we'd like to thank you guys for patiently listening to us. We hope there were a few nuggets of information, wisdom that you got from learning about Tezos, a layer 1 blockchain, and a gaming company that's been trying to build on them. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.